winter nights so cold and dark, they don't just change the weather, they change your life forever. That's what happened to me 3 years back, deep in December. I was living alone, working long hours. When the blizzard warning started, I decided to just hunker down, make some dinner, and shut out the world. My street was a ghost town, just older homes with their lights off early. So when I saw the headlights crawling down my road around 9, I noticed. It wasn't a plow truck, just a beat-up pickup with a DIY blade bolted to the front. No markings. It passed my house once, slow. Then, maybe 10 minutes later, it came back, even slower. When it paused right at the foot of my driveway, I felt the first real prick of unease. I closed the blinds, told myself it was just some guy looking for shoveling work. 20 minutes of quiet, then a sound. A soft, almost timid knock at my front door, way too late for visitors. I checked the peephole. Nobody. The wind, I thought. But then it came again, this time on the living room window, a few quick, sharp taps. I peered through the blinds, an empty porch, just swirling snow. I went back to the kitchen, heart starting to thump a little harder. Then another knock. This one came from the back door, maybe 15 feet from where I stood. I grabbed a knife from the block and crept over. No one there, just a single set of footprints in the fresh snow, leading right up to the glass and stopping. No tracks leading away. The silence after a knock is the loudest sound you'll ever hear. I killed all the lights, trying to look empty. Stupid move, someone clearly knew I was in here. Minutes dragged. Another knock from the dining room window. Same rhythm. That's when I saw it, just a flicker of movement, the edge of a dark coat whipping around the corner of my house. Gone. I should have called the police right then, but I hesitated. What if I was overreacting? Another hour passed with no sound. Near midnight, I finally relaxed enough to head down to the basement, my finished sanctuary. I had a sliding door there to the backyard. I got lost in a game on my PC, the strange events fading. About an hour in, a chill shot down my spine, this primal feeling that I wasn't alone. I turned slowly in my chair, and in the black reflection of my monitor, I saw him, a silhouette standing perfectly still outside the glass door, a man in a heavy coat, hood pulled tight. My stomach vanished. I spun around, and in that split second, he stepped back into the shadows. I fumbled for my phone, dialing 911. As I whispered to the dispatcher, a new sound cut through the house, metal on metal. Upstairs, my front door lock was being tampered with. "He's trying to get in," I hissed. She told me to hide. Then I heard it, the groan of my front door swinging open. Footsteps, heavy, pounding down the hallway toward the basement stairs, and a low, awful laugh. I dropped my phone. Panic took over. I shoved my feet into the heavy winter boots I'd left downstairs, threw on my coat, and burst out through the basement slider into the biting cold. I didn't look back. I ran, slipping in the snow, until I reached my neighbor's house and pounded on their door like a maniac. The police came. They cleared my house. He was gone. But when I went back inside, it was destroyed. Not robbed, raged against. Furniture slashed, drawers emptied, everything overturned. And on my living room whiteboard, in messy handwriting, "See you soon, sweet dreams," with a smiley face.
They found his prints everywhere, circling the house, at every door and window he'd knocked on. They never found him. I moved out within a week. The worst part wasn't the vandalism or even seeing him. It was the slow, cold realization of how long he must have been out there in the storm, studying my routines, learning the blueprint of my life before he ever made a sound. The second story isn't mine, but it's one that haunts me. A friend of a friend, let's call him Alex, lived in a rural house where the yard met a dense woods. Last January, during a week of constant snowfall, he saw a light. A single, steady glow deep in the trees behind his property. It looked like a lantern, motionless. It stayed for a minute, then went out. The next morning he checked. A single set of boot prints emerged from the woods, traced a wide, lazy arc around the edge of his yard, and vanished back into the trees. It was unsettling, but he rationalized it. 2 nights later, the light returned. This time, it drifted, sliding behind the trees parallel to his house before stopping. The prints the next morning were different. They formed a deliberate, trampled path in the center of his yard, back and forth, like someone pacing. This became a pattern. The light, then new tracks, never approaching the house, always staying just at the edge of the tree line. It was a week of this silent, patient observation that broke him, not with fear, but with furious frustration. One night, seeing the glow paint his ceiling, he snapped. He marched out into the deep snow, flashlight in hand, straight toward the light. In a small clearing, he found a pathetic campfire, and a man sitting on a log, dressed for the Arctic. The man turned slowly, unsurprised. "I like the trees," he said. "Good cover." Alex demanded to know what he was doing. The man's answers were calm, detached. He talked about watching patterns, the lights in the house, the movement of curtains. Alex threatened to call the cops. The man just said, "Okay," and turned back to his fire. The next morning, the man was gone, but his camp remained. Inside a plastic crate were photographs of Alex's house, of Alex himself framed in windows. Note pages detailed his schedule, when he got home, when he ate, when he slept. One page had his address and the note, "Back is good. Trees close, no dog." Another page, dated the night of the confrontation, read, "He came out tonight. It's time to move on. Leave gear and loop back later." The police found drugs and a knife. They also found the notebook listed other addresses, other towns. This wasn't his first watch. He was a predator, and Alex was just one stop on a list. The thought of that last line, "loop back later," still gives me chills. Somewhere, behind another quiet home, that little campfire might be burning right now. The final story is the one that makes me double-check every lock. During a massive regional blackout, a woman, let's say Sam, was one of the few with a working generator. In the storm's grip, a knock came. A man from down the street stood there with 2 shivering children. Their heat was out, he said. Could they just warm up? He offered cash. The kids looked so cold. Sam let them in. The man, Mark, was polite but vague. The kids were eerily quiet, obeying his slightest glance without a word. Hours turned into the evening. The storm worsened. Sam offered them to stay the night. Mark accepted a little too quickly. Sam went to bed with a growing knot of doubt. Why didn't the kids speak? Why did Mark keep confirming she lived alone? She woke around 1 a.m. to her bedroom door creaking open. Mark stood there, silhouetted. He claimed he was just hungry, wanted to make a sandwich. But she heard no kitchen sounds after he left. She forced herself to stay awake. And just as she was drifting off again, she awoke to a figure in black leaning over her bed, wearing a ski mask. She fought. He grabbed her. And then a small voice from the hall. "Stop hurting her." It was the little girl. "We called the police," the boy cried out. Mark froze. He released Sam and fled out the front door just as sirens approached. The kids had used Sam's old landline. As the officers sorted the scene, one asked the children their names. Their whispers didn't match what Mark had said. The officer looked grim. "They're not his kids," he told Sam. "They were missing children, taken years ago from another state."
As they led Mark away in cuffs, he looked at Sam, snow in his hair, and whispered with chilling calm, "You weren't supposed to wake up." 3 winters, 3 shadows in the storm, each one a reminder that the most dangerous things in the cold aren't the elements, but the quiet things that choose to move within them. If you felt that chill down your spine, you know the feeling. Help this channel, Thrilling Nightmares, keep these stories alive. Hit that like button, it truly makes a difference, and subscribe for more tales that linger long after the screen goes dark.